1051.
It's the Breakfast Club, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God, and we got a special guest with us this morning.
The legendary Spike Lee is here.
Spike Lee, good morning, sir.
What's up?
Now, Spike, what's up with Trish Reagan, man? She tried to get at you. Tried to get at you immediately.
I was gonna
She
ease into
know I
that.
come from Fort Greene, Brooklyn.
Okay,
The fort.
Why everybody giving you so much flack about the Kickstarter campaign?
Well, explain who Trish Reagan is and why
yeah,
she's so
she's
upset.
Charlamagne.
Oh, I'm
Can
sorry.
we-
What-
You just went right in, Charlamagne. Not a good morning.
She came off she tried to put me on full blast. You know, was talking out the side of her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's from a show called Street Smart. She introduced you as saying, she said, do the right thing. No, what she said? Oh, well, yeah, she just basically said that people are calling for you to stop your Kickstarter campaign.
Well,
And that's how she started the
But that's
interview off.
ridiculous because there's a lot of other high-profile.
yeah, but look, here's the
Directors on
thing, though.
Kickstarter.
Here's the thing. What I've done over my last 30 years, 3 decades doing this. In fact, last Thursday was the 27th anniversary of my first film, She's Gonna Have It.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't stay in the game this long with the people not, just trying to be negative, hate. You just gotta, roll the punches and keep stepping. So be honest, I really forgot about that lady till you brought it up because we're moving forward. This weekend we went over the $800,000 mark.
Wow.
On Kickstarter.
And our goal is 1,250,000. Listen to this, 1,250,000. FIDDY. 250. August 21st is the deadline. 12:15 p.m. August 21st. The buzzer goes off, and I believe we will be there.
Now explain what Kickstarter is to people that don't know and how can people
I'm
donate.
glad you asked that question. Kickstarter is really about crowdfunding because it's different. You get Kickstarter, Indiegogo.
I did Indiegogo. I helped Reagan Gomez. She was working on a
Cool.
online series.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's about crowdfunding where you appeal directly to your fan base to get your stuff done. If you're a inventor, playwright, novelist, rapper, you could raise money Kickstarter, do your album, your mixtape, and I'm a filmmaker. So the beef has been that I'm too prominent, success, whatever, to be on Kickstarter. And that's not true. Because the reality is, I've been doing Kickstarter all my life. My first film, She's Gonna Have It, cost $175,000. There was no internet, so social media was writing letters. Who does that now?
Nobody.
Licking the envelope, licking the stamp, licking stamps on postcards, phoning people. So this is not anything new. Malcolm X, we ran out of money. What I have to do? Had to call Miss Winfrey, Tracy Chapman, Prince, Janet Jackson, Michael Jordan, Magic.
And you dipped into your own fee.
Yes, and my entire fee for that film went into the movie. So this is not something new. I
But
financed self-financed Red Hook Summer. My money is in this film too. It's not like I'm a robber baron or something.
But people might say that when the movie does well, do they get their money back?
No, here's the thing though. Kickstarter is not really for investment. So when you go on Kickstarter, you get a reward for your pledge. So if you pledge $10,000, which is the highest pledge you can do on Kickstarter, if you go to my site, I'm taking you to dinner, and then you're going to sit courtside with me in the world's most famous arena.
The
Barclays
Barclays
Center.
Center.
No,
Madison Square Garden.
hell no.
It is now. It is now.
What?
No,
You're
don't-
crazy.
I mean, that's what they say.
Don't
The
pay
paper-
that
Madison
crazy.
Square Garden
I don't care what that Russian says. The world's most famous arena is Madison Square Garden, the Mecca.
That's right.
And I'm talking about the New York Knicks, orange and blue skies.
Now, I had a question about that because I saw somebody is going to the Knicks game with you and
Whoa,
everything.
whoa. Not somebody. 27 people
Okay.
has signed for that pledge. That's $270,000. Plus, I got to pay for those tickets. So really, it's a better value. And you're not. Those tickets like $3,500.
Right.
And if at $10,000, I'm taking you to dinner, And you get the experience sitting next to me, my wife's seat. Thank you, Tanya. I love you. Best seats in the house, courtside.
Well, what games you taking them, Spike?
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna ask.
No,
Do
it
you get
depends.
to pick?
The people who got in early got the choice games.
Oh, okay.
Got you.
Now, there's 41 home games and 20 are gone. So look at the schedule.
Miami's going, Boston's going.
Now, Spike, one more
Clippers
question
going.
about that. Can
Yes.
say somebody pays the pledges the $10,000, right? But they want to go to the Miami Heat game. They're in
Miami
Heat.
gone.
But
That's gone.
Gone.
no, but say
Late.
whoever's going, say they're a Miami Heat fan. Are they allowed to come in their Miami Heat garb? Is that fine with
Oh,
you?
you could. That's a great question. Anybody who is pledged, you can wear what you want to wear. For this game.
So is this the new way of doing things? Because I mean,
I'm telling you.
for years, like Hollywood would never give you the money to fund the projects that you wanted.
It's not just me, it's for everybody. Crowd, this is opening up. If you're a musician, you don't have to get a label deal. Raise your money. Raise your money crowdfunding. If you're an artist, if you're a playwright, if you're a novelist, if you're a poet, if you're a painter, this is it.
And that's good for
Crowdfunding.
That's good for the fans too, because fans always complain about they're not seeing what they want to see on TV or in the movie theater. So now they can pay for it themselves. You want to see these type of films? This is how you support them. This is how you get
Exactly.
them made.
If you have P up there and you're saying, "Here's a Spike, when's the last time you make a movie?" Spike, I want another joint. So when I get these tweets, I said, "Have you pledged the new film?" Simple.
Now, Charlamagne and Envy, you may not remember this, but you guys have actually pledged money on Kickstarter as well for our friend who was had her business, Evelyn's Kitchen.
Oh yeah, I did that for.
I made them pledge money
Oh,
to
yeah,
support
yeah.
her as well, and that's
I did that for the Uncle Ruckus movie too, for Aaron Magruder.
And here's the thing we have to realize, and this is, I'm not making this up, this is hard data. People of color have a much harder time securing small business loans from the bank. That's fact. And this is another avenue for us as young entrepreneurs. We're bypassing the banks, wherever the record companies, and we're appealing directly to our people.
Right.
Support us. And when you invest in these businesses, they got to hire people. Like, I'm not making this film myself. We make this film, there be a whole lot of young people that are getting a job on this movie, not just in front of the camera, but and behind. It's not just in front of the camera, behind the camera. So it's not just about Spike Lee. It's it's bigger than that.
Right.
There's a whole lot of people attached to this.
Now, the movie that you're doing this for, what is the movie? And explain it a
they
little
can't
bit.
tell you.
I will tell you as much as I can. We don't have I can't tell the title. I'm biting for my man Woody Allen. Woody Allen never names his films. You never know the name of the Woody Allen film that comes out. He says the Woody Allen Fall Project, Woody Allen Spring Project. This is a Spike Lee joint. The Spike Lee Fall joint.
It's a thriller, though. I read
This is a
that.
thriller.
So we might be putting money on a Kickstarter. We might not like the movie or nothing. We might like, you know, Spike, I don't want that type of movie, Spike.
But here's the thing, though. You gotta when you go to a racetrack, what do?
You bet.
Bet on the best horse.
And hope
She's
to win.
gotta have it. School Days,
Yeah.
Do the Right Thing, Mo Better, Malcolm X, Jungle Fever, Summer Sam, He Got Game, Kobe Doing Work, Crooklyn. For a Little Girl. I go. How long we have?
I bet on
How
that
long we
horse.
have here?
all right.
I'll bet on that horse. Now you say thriller. Now you're not about to make an African American horror movie like Tyler Perry be doing now.
He does horror? I don't think he
Yeah,
does. horror.
no. Temptations was a horror movie. For Colored Girls was a horror movie.
But look, here's the thing, though. Me and Tyler are cool, so let's
Don't
not
try
even
to-
go
don't
that
try to
way.
start that,
Let's
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not,
It's all-
I'm not.
Me and Tyler are mad cool. We got no beef. It's all love. But this film about people who are addicted to blood, but they're not vampires. As human beings, we have many addictions: sex, drugs, alcohol, Jordans,
You gotta say Jordan. You gotta say the Jordans.
Jordans, power, money. This is about people who are addicted to blood.
To blood.
So I've never done a film like this before, but I'm excited. It's going to be bloody, sexy, hot,
What you doing, Vampire in Brooklyn Part 2?
They're not
He
vampires.
said no vampires.
No vampires?
This is very different for you, though.
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
what made you decide to go this route? Were you inspired by something, or
Spike likes blood.
he's addicted to
But
blood?
no, listen. Blood is the substance of life. I mean, people that always have bad connotation of blood, but we don't have blood. I mean, you got to have it.
Right.
So I want to look at it as a different way, as the substance of life. These are people who have to drink it in order to keep living.
Now, what if you don't make that 1.2 million?
Oh, it ain't no,
Yeah, he's gonna make it.
my man, Mr. Envy.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. Let me tell you something. When I was in film school, way back between 1979 and 82, I went to Morehouse undergrad, class 79, and I was NYU, came back to New York, go to NYU Film School from 1979 to 1982. When I was in film school, there was only one African-American director working in Hollywood. His name is Michael Schultz. He directed a lot of Richard Pryor films. Richard Pryor was the biggest star in Hollywood. Now, if I would have thought about, there's only one, how am I going to do this? Those are like 1,000,000 to 1 odds. I've always, and I know with the upbringing, I've never have had a negative outlook. When I say I'm going to do something, I don't think about I'm not going to do it or I'm not going to make it. Once I set my mind to do it,
Get it done.
get it done by any means necessary. If you look at the credits of any Spike Lee film, before the lights go up in the theater, it says, you dig, show enough. Underneath it says, by any means necessary. So I know you have to ask that question, but we're getting that. We're going to get to the promised land and beyond. And we're making this bad boy too.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ever get around to seeing Django?
No.
Because when I saw it, I was like, Spike was critical of it, but I think you would actually like this film.
Well, I won't see it to know.
Now, Paul Pierce says it's time for the Nets to start running New York City.
Man,
He
he's
said-
crazy.
He said the hate for the Knicks has grown so much that people want something new.
How can you talk about? He's from who hates?
We all hate him.
I mean, the Celtics are the most hated team in NBA, and we're not even talking about Mr. Garnett. So let them guys talk. They're running New York, this and that, wacko jacko, yabba jabba, Jord, whatever they're doing. Let them talk. We got something for their, you know what? Can you say that word?
You can say
Absolutely.
ass.
We got something for the ass.
Now, I thought
I'm talking orange and blue skies. And when we put, I know he might be changing his name again, but when we put Meta World Peace,
Ron.
Ron from Queensbridge,
Queensbridge.
St. John's, he could lock up Joe Johnson, and he could lock up
Garnett.
Deron Williams.
Paul Pierce,
Paul
and
Pierce.
then we have to, we'll put him on Garnett.
Absolutely.
What? When I saw the season, I saw the schedules came out. I'm fired up.
Word.
So we'll be done shooting this film before the season starts.
That's the goal.
Melo
That's
says
the cutoff date.
Melo says the window of opportunity for the Knicks to win a championship is closed.
Well, depends how many years he's
He's gonna stay in
Nick. That's the question everybody's asking.
Yeah.
Because he has an option. He's going to re-up. We shall see.
Hope he does.
Now, I thought about you this morning because I was reading in the paper, and one of the front stories on the paper was about Brooklyn and how the average rent in Brooklyn
Oh,
is now like
I saw that.
$3,100 or something crazy like that.
It's crazy. Here's the thing. And it's not just Brooklyn. And it, all seriousness aside, New York City has become unaffordable. And if all the Hispanics, Latinos, or Boricuas, Dominicanos have to move to Pennsylvania or move back to the islands, or the African Americans got to move back to the South, New York City is not going to be the same. What we contribute to the city is the culture. And if only millionaires can live in New York City, it's going to be whack. And so we don't have affordable housing. A public school is not picked up because right now, if you have money, you're not putting your children in public school
Hell.
for the most part.
Yeah.
And so if you can't afford it, then your children are going to receive an inferior education, which is going to put them way back in this thing we call life. So whoever's the next mayor is, we have to get affordable housing. And can I just say a little more? We were the first black family to move into Cobble Hill, which was stone Italian American, which was in the early 60s. My mother told my father, I want to stop paying rent. So we bought our brownstone in Fort Greene. And I'm talking about when the fort was the fort.
Right. Murder Ave.
Murder Ave. That's when the L was run up and down
Right.
Myrtle Avenue. We bought a brownstone in Fort Greene, facing Fort Greene Park, for $40,000. Now, my father's a jazz musician, great jazz musician. He did the music for my film. She's Gotta Have It, School Days, wrote all those songs, School Days, Do the Right Thing, Mo Better. He's been playing jazz in our house since 1968. Some new people move in, and they call it was in the paper like 2 weeks ago. New people move in, calling the cops on my father.
Damn.
Saying he's playing the music too loud. It wasn't too loud back in 1968. What about those brothers? Those brothers play African drums in Mount Morris Park. 4 decades. Every Sunday, African drums. Guess what? No more. The new neighbors complain. So I'm not totally against gentrification, but when you move into a neighborhood, you just moved in.
They're taking the soul out.
People got culture.
Right.
Stakes. You just can't come in Bogart and say, we're here now and we're running stuff.
It's like a sense of entitlement. Like I'm.
Definitely. And like, has anybody been to Fort Greene Park in the morning? It's like the Westminster Dog Show. It is 20,000 dogs off a leash. We're still here.
No, it's been hard because I'm from Brooklyn too, and I've been looking for a house, and it's like you can't even live in Fort Greene. Everything is like $2 million.
Oh,
And so everybody's moving to Bed-Stuy. Now Bed-Stuy, where I live now,
they're trying. You know what? They're trying to change the name now
to
to
what?
Stuyvesant Heights.
Oh yes, well there's a Stuyvesant Heights, as well.
That sounds safer than
They
Bed-Stuy.
trying to change the name of Bed-Stuy?
Yes.
That sounds way safer.
real estate.
That sounds safer.
And
yeah.
then so our people were living in Williamsburg. Forget about that. Moved to Bushwick.
That's right.
Bushwick is in West Williamsburg.
And that's true. And
And
they're
you keep
actually
go-
making Bushwick like Stuyvesant Heights too. 'cause
And you
it's
keep
extending.
look, after Coney Island, it's Atlantic Ocean. Where you want to put stilts in Atlantic Ocean? You got to keep moving farther and farther. And after Coney Island, where are we gonna go?
Staten Island.
But aren't they making better neighborhoods though? I mean, the place safer, is cleaner.
Yeah, but let me ask a question though. Why do people have to move into our neighborhoods so now the garbage gets picked up, so now the school system's better,
Right.
and now there's more police. So if you see these new neighbors pushing their babies down 125th Street 4 in the morning in a crib, in a stroller, what does that say? There's more police presence.
Right.
Why is that?
Because there ain't that many blacks out there no more. They got the white people in there now.
Right, white
Gotta
people
protect the
don't
white people.
Again, there's pros and cons of gentrification. I just think that we need to have some sensitivity when you're a newcomer and you move into these historical African American and Hispanic neighborhoods. Have some sympathy, man. They're just coming in Bogart and say like, we're here now, and this is the way it got to go. That's not making for a good neighbor. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody else.
Right.
But as somebody grew up in Fort Greene and sees the change in the neighborhood, It's crazy.
It is. Now you're on the cover of Ebony magazine as well with your son, Trayvon
My son
Martin.
Jackson.
Yeah, your son Jackson. So that issue hasn't come out yet, though.
I think it hits the stands today.
It hits today.
Okay.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, so I didn't think it
Oh,
came
just
out.
not myself. Dwayne Wade and his son, Cujo, and his son, and Trayvon's parents and his brother.
Right. So
Beautiful, 4 beautiful covers.
how did they approach you for that? Because it is in honor of Trayvon Martin and.
They called me up, and I asked my wife Tanya. She said, "Okay, you could."
Got to get
You
permission
do it.
from the boss, yeah?
Yes, I'm not gonna front.
Where were you when you heard the verdict? The George Zimmerman verdict.
Where was I? I was in New York.
How did it affect you, like when you heard it?
Like someone had had a red hot poker in a fireplace for 24 hours and just stuck it into my gut.
I think we all felt like that.
Were you surprised, or did you expect that to be the verdict?
Well, I don't know who hired the prosecution. You know, they're like,
The worst.
I know they might say they were doing the best they could do, but you go through it and see several missteps they made, and hopefully the feds will. There's precedent for this, where the feds will come in and get a retrial.
Yeah, appeal. Now, question: would you ever do, and could it be done, a Trayvon Martin movie?
I don't think I could do it, but for me, I would say, if you're gonna do 2, the first thing should be done would be a documentary, instead of having actors playing somebody. I mean, that's the reason why when I did my documentary on Katrina, when the levees broke. I felt it would be much more impactful, speaking to the people. Like, excuse me, I forgot my sister's name, but there's a riveting moment when she talks about finding her daughter always had this backpack, wore it every day, and then 4 months after Katrina, they found the skeleton, and the backpack was the one identified. I mean, I know they're great actors, but no one could surpass what she did, because that's not acting. That's a mother's grief about finding out her daughter had been missing for 4 months. 4 months later, finding out that we found remains of your daughter. And I wanted to interview. I wanted the real people, the witnesses, to document it for forever what happened with that human tragedy.
When you do movies like that, like what is the end result? Like, what are you trying to convey to the people? Because I don't like to just discuss problems. I want to discuss solutions. So 10 years from now, when somebody sees that movie, it's like, okay, where do we go from here?
I think people are going to be looking at that documentary for years, because for me, I'm not bragging, but that is the best document. And thank you, HBO, for giving me the time and the money. That's 4 hours. We took 4 hours to tell that story, and it's a living document of the people who were in it. So, but I know what you're saying, though. But
what are they gonna learn from it? Or even if they did a Trayvon doco with the new Fruitvale station with Oscar Grant, like, what do you learn from it?
Oh, from Fruitvale, I want to say, anybody who's not seen Fruitvale, please go see it. It tells you about how young black men are still as rough being. I mean, I'm not discounting our sisters there, but to be a black male today, you are viewed in a certain way, and it was very. What's the word? I know Harvey Weinstein, and his company picked up the film. He's good, but he could not plan that film opening with the same.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
The same. I mean, he couldn't plan it; just happened.
Yeah.
The film opened the same weekend as Trayvon's verdict, But I just think that art can open our eyes, and I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the great criticisms about Do the Right Thing was that I did not provide the answer to racism and prejudice at the end of the movie. But I don't think that's the role of artists, in my opinion. My role, depending on the film, is so here's a mirror. This is what's happening today. What are we gonna do about it? I don't have the answer, but maybe let's start some discussions, some debates, so a dialogue, so maybe we could arrive at some solutions. But I think it's preposterous when artists say, I'm so and so, and if you just do this, I'm gonna give you the answer. I don't have the answer how we can end racism or prejudice or homophobia or sexism. I don't have that answer.
Right.
So basically, those films and stuff, they highlight it so people can start a dialogue, like you said, to possibly get to a solution. Make people aware of it.
Yes, aware. Like
we need to do that in Chicago.
A lot of people never heard of what happened in Fruitvale. Fruitvale is a real. I mean, that happened.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought that up too. Another thing, my man. You know, we talk about Trayvon, no disrespect to what has happened, but we're honest with ourselves. Young black brothers are killing each other left and right.
I've been saying that since the Trayvon Martin situation happened. They came down on me for saying it.
Well, sometimes you speak the truth, that's going to happen. Chicago, I don't know what those brothers doing out there, but they're illin'. I mean, Chicago, these young brothers are killing each other left and right. And New Orleans, New Orleans has their population is 500,000. New York is 8.5 million. You know, New Orleans, which has a population of 500,000, has more homicides than New York City, and we're 8.5 million.
That's crazy.
And these all young brothers killing each other. So something is amiss. There is so much self-hatred amongst us that this is like a manifestation of that.
Why do you think we as a people, like when something like Trayvon Martin happens, everybody's in an outrage? But young black brothers, like you said, kill each other every day, and it's like we don't even care. We don't black out our Abbeys for that. We don't tweet about that. We don't.
Well, I wouldn't say we don't care, but we're not really paying. It's become too mundane, too everyday, and it seems like we only give the full attention to it on a case like Trayvon.
Almost like we're
I
numb
think
to the situation.
it was the media coverage of it, because to be honest, with the whole Trayvon situation, when he first got killed,
no one
knew. It was no big deal, and it took for them to actually.
And Reverend had a lot to do with that.
And for them to highlight that and make sure that George Zimmerman actually got arrested, because he didn't even get arrested.
Got charged, right.
So we need the media to care?
It's almost like we're numb to the situation. Like it happens all the time. It's almost like it numbs you.
No, it's just that people get killed and no one does anything or says anything about it. But the fact that the whole community came up and said he needs to get arrested, they weren't even going to arrest him.
I'll give you another example. The young girl, pretty young girl, that got killed in Chicago.
Hayden.
2 weeks after being a part of the inauguration. Now, if she had not been a part of the inauguration, that would not made national headlines. But the fact that she participated in the inauguration, that made it go over the top. But who's talking about that now?
Nobody.
But let's bring it up, and we have to. How much is the culture influencing this? Stay with me now. The music, I'm not blasting all rap, but there's certain elements that promotes that type of mentality, which is taken on by young, impressionable, young black boys, and try to live that life. So we're all guilty, of part in this. And, I mean, we're gonna talk about that. We got to talk about,
When you talk about that, then you have to talk about everything. You got to talk about the movies.
Yes.
You got to talk about everything. But but is it
Video
that as well?
games?
Because
I said video games.
Yes.
Everything.
but sometimes it's
Oh yes, the more
parenthood.
points you get, I just blew his head off.
Right.
That's more points. Ha 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 ha.
But it's also in parenting though.
My man, I'm not trying to leave anybody out. I say we were all
To blame.
we're all have blood in our hands, and so, but since we're on radio, I'm talking about specifically as artists, and all I call for as artists, let's try to just be more cognizant of what we're saying and what we're doing and the imagery. And I know,
Bill O'Reilly said the same
I know
thing.
we got to make money, but just think about it, and just think about what could be the implications of what you're doing. That's all I'm saying.
Bill O'Reilly
And
said
I'm
the
not
same
naming
thing.
no names or nothing.
Yeah. Bill O'Reilly said the exact same thing.
I mean, I don't agree with him on most times, but he's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't say he's wrong. I can't do it. He's right.
Absolutely.
Well, the Knicks are gonna be good this year.
Yes.
Well, the Knicks are gonna be good. And
I don't want people to turn the station.
No,
like
no,
that.
we're good. I mean, it's good when we have talk like this.
The Knicks are gonna be good, but are they gonna win the championship?
Look, I just want to get an Eastern Conference Finals. Face the Heat.
Yeah,
I
we
want
get
an
there.
Eastern Conference Finals against the Heat.
That'll be amazing.
You passed the
And
Pacers.
they, you're right. Because last year the Pacers were a better team.
Absolutely.
I can't
They played tougher.
deny that. But that was last year.
Now, what's with your deal with Nike, with your sneakers as far as now? Your son designs the spikes.
Yeah, no, he has a Spizike, but it's called Son of Mars.
Oh, so all him is the Son of Mars.
That's my son Jackson.
He sells a lot of sneakers. He might be designing better than you. There, the Sons of Mars
He
is pretty
should
dope.
donate to that Kickstarter campaign in that case.
He did.
Did he donate 10,000? He's gonna sit next to you in the game, or he don't want to sit next to you?
He's begging me to come to the games all the time. But you know that I'm glad you brought that up because out of nowhere I got this tweet because I didn't even tell him to do it. I said, "Daddy, I just pledged on Kickstarter. I made my day. Made my day.
How much did he pledge though?
Didn't matter. But here's the thing. I'm getting tweets, and I swear on my mother's grave, right hand to God, tweets. Spike, I'm giving you $5, and I had to make a decision whether it's gonna be noodles, McDonald's, or a can of tuna fish and saltine crackers. I'm gonna go hungry tonight, so you can have this $5. I'm getting tweets like that.
That's dope.
People are going hungry. Give me the last $5 so I get my. They said, Spike, I've loved your films. I wish I give you more. This is my last $5. Boom.
That's dope.
And that warms my heart. That
Well,
warms
me,
my
Emmy, and
heart.
Charlamagne, there's no reason why we can't donate. Then I'll make sure I
Absolutely.
remind them.
Absolutely.
So what do you
go
do? You
ahead.
go
But
to-
people do what they can, you know, and I understand it. But when I get and I know I was shouting out to people who spent $10,000, but I would be a fool not to talk about and ungrateful not to talk about the people giving me their last $5.
Right.
And for me, that's a greater sacrifice. When we have to go hungry for a night, so we get this next joint made.
So how do you tell our listeners to go? What are they gonna do?
Kickstarter.com. Kickstarter.com. Click on Spike Lee. Look, $5.
Okay.
I'm not asked to do any more. $5. There's various things you're gonna get for $5. Signed postcard, signed sticker, you know, whatever it is, it's gonna be nice. And you get your name on the website, and we appreciate you doing this. Also, a lot of you people have been with me since 1986. Now, I know you've not liked them all, and I understand that. We got haters on Girl 6, and she hate me. But that's all right. You guys are supporting me through thick and thin, and I love you for that.
Well, we appreciate you joining us
I never
today.
liked Malcolm X.
Did you see the look at my sorry. All right. We're filming this.
Right.
But say that again so I can give the camera. I'm going to turn to you
All right.
for my response. Say that again.
I never liked Malcolm X.
For those on the radio, I just looked at him sideways. Oh, and do that again. I'll give you one for Denzel. Say it again.
I never liked Malcolm X.
I turned sideways the other way.
Well, Spike Lee, it's the Breakfast Club, DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God.
Real people, real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club.
Blast off in your ear.
Weekday morning, 6 to 10.